33. This is the 33rd one, believe it or not.
Wow. Is my mic
Yeah.
too hot? I feel like my mic is a little too hot.
No, you're good, man.
Turn it down.
You're
Every
good.
time I listen back to these, I'm always louder than you.
Yeah, well, I'm in an RV, man. My options are limited right now.
Yeah.
You know.
What's up, bro? Back to the Heeb Goy show.
Yeah. You know, I don't have much this week, man. It was a low key week for me.
I got some stuff.
We're still working on the permit on our house and still living in an RV, and we do have some baby chicks now.
So you made it through the big storm that you had. I'm pretty sure we talked about it on the last podcast.
Yep.
And do I have a lisp, Dan?
No.
I talking on the phone with Ro last night. And she goes, "You have a lisp." I'm like, "No, I don't." But maybe I do.
I would be the first to tell you if you had a lisp.
I know you would.
No, you do not have a lisp. But here you can see our baby chicks.
Oh, that's awesome. So they're a couple weeks old?
How old are they? I'm guessing a month?
Yeah.
Like that?
They're awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's so great to have, because at East Jesus they have them. And then they have, so you get these farm fresh eggs.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking love farm. And I was grossed out at first when someone said, "Here's some eggs." And they were like, had little poo smeared on the side of them and stuff like this. And but it's like, I was like, what is, but then the taste of the actual egg with the dark yolk.
Yep.
Fuck, dude. I love me some eggs, and it was night and day compared to the ones you buy at the store.
Yeah, we're overstocked. We don't eat very many. Right now I get 2 a day, but that's going to go up once these girls get older.
When you make an omelet in the morning, say you're hungry and you make an omelet in the morning, how many eggs do you put in that omelet?
I don't remember the last time I did that. I really don't eat that many eggs, man. I probably should eat more, but I just don't.
I eat so many eggs, dude. If I were to answer that question, like I make an omelet in the morning, I'm hungry. It's like 5 to 6 eggs.
Yeah, I wish we lived close, man. I could keep you in eggs forever.
Well, good. Congratulations on the chickens.
Yeah. So we did lose one. We had an attack, and we had one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's common. It's common.
What got to them? A bird of prey?
No, probably a fox or a raccoon. We don't know.
But aren't they like in a completely enclosed pen?
They were out at the time. We had been giving them some yard time, and we learned the hard way here.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
We really got to be with them. So, yeah, at this point, we're not giving them any yard time unless we're there with them.
No.
But
fucking.
But yeah, so we're down to, we have 7. We have the 4 babies you just saw, and then 3 adults. Two of the adults actually lay eggs.
So yeah, you get 2 a day. I mean, basically, what I've learned from chickens, they lay about an egg a day when it's in season or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I love it. And some are light green, and some are dark brown or light brown, and different sizes and shapes and colors of these eggs.
Oh yeah.
But then they're all like I said, the dark yolk and super flavorful, and that they're just from good, happy chickens. They're not kept in some pen. So it's all good. You know what I mean? There's good vibes all around with fried eggs. I love fucking fried eggs. I love hard-boiled eggs.
You got to see my special chicken.
What's the matter with him?
She has one eye.
He's like kind of crooked. One eye?
Has one eye. Her name is Sandy Duncan.
Because of the one eye, you named her Sandy Duncan?
That's right.
And so that's an old reference for you kids.
Yeah, you kids. So she would have been culled, right, in any normal situation, but she got lucky and she ended up with us.
Yeah.
So she will.
So when she's got like one eye and walks a little fucked up because of the one eye,
walks a little fucked up. She's got kind of like she's kind of missing a back end. Like she doesn't have like the tail going up. She's sort of like
kind of a deformed chicken. But I mean, it lays eggs. So
no, she does not lay. She does not.
This
lay.
one, you're just keeping this one out of love and human compassion and kindness for animals.
Of course, she's my kid. See, there she goes.
That's why Dan's going to heaven. All you listeners don't know about all the horrible things that Dan's up to, but I do. And I will tell you that he's still going to heaven because all the stuff that he does with animals, easily
Hopefully.
offsets.
Hopefully it offsets it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
I think so, Dan.
Yeah, no, she's good. She gets picked on by the others, but she's all right. She lives her life, does her thing.
Nice.
But yeah, we
I
got
love it.
three pigs, 7 chickens, 3 dogs. That's the brood right now. And we're gonna get another chicken coop. We're gonna have a main chicken coop, like a fancy one, and then a chicken coop 1A.
Why wouldn't you just
like,
build one? It's not, you get a couple 2x4s, some chicken wire, get out there, build one. It's not.
Nah, man, you got this. It's got to be predator proof. Like, so we got like a real Mac Daddy one that
Yeah.
they're bringing it down and putting it in like probably by the end of the year, and it's going to be our main one. And then the one we have now, which is decent, is going to be sort of our other one we'll use for babies and for probably Sandy Duncan will live in there too, just to avoid being bullied, just so she's not bullied.
Well, that's nice.
But yeah, enough of my boring chickens. I want to hear. So you teased me a little bit that you took a job, you took a gig.
Okay. No, I this is pretty interesting. So I hesitate sometimes when I do this podcast. I hesitate to talk about stuff because I talk about some people that are in my life, and I might talk about those people in a negative light, and then I worry they're going to listen to it and think badly of me. Do you ever have that feeling, Dan, or when you do the podcast?
I don't really broadcast that I do this. I do this for me, and like I don't. So no, because anyone that I would talk about, they don't even know I do this.
Yeah, because I mean, I would talk about stuff and then put the link on the Facebook page. And then even though I can try to set the settings, like this is for friends only or associates or whatever, I know that it's not hard for someone to get, hey, did you hear Bruce's podcast? He was talking about you, And I mean, I want to do, but I don't give a fuck because this was just too good.
Okay.
All right. So here's the deal. And this, I'm going to try to make fun of myself too. And please cut in and interject your thoughts and just don't let me ramble, nonstop. So of course this has to do with the fact that I haven't worked in 2 years and I've been living my best life, just burning through my savings because it's just so great. I hate working. And after you get a taste of not working, it's just like crack, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, this is great life. I love not working. But meanwhile, you need money. We live in capitalism and you need money. Otherwise, you're going to be a hobo, and which is kind of looking pretty good these days. But so anyway, I'm kind of like, I'm needing money. And it's my own fault, too, because the last 2 years I've been hustling with it, selling artwork, doing things, generating income. And just for the past, 6 months, I've been like, fuck it, just doing nothing. You know what I mean? Just living a great life. And so I'm like looking at my bank account going, oh, fuck, dude, you're running low. So I'm like, what can I do, And I'm scrolling through my phone and I see that this old screen printing place I used to work at here in Arizona, I worked at a screen printing place about 7 years ago. And I worked there for about 1 year or 2 years. And it was a good crew. It was a good boss and it was a good situation, except the problem is with screen printing places in Arizona, they can't be air conditioned because of the nature of the industry, because you've got to put these T-shirts through a belt dryer and have the air get sucked out. Otherwise, it's just because of the air circulation in the dryer, you can't have an air conditioned shop to print shirts in. It's got to be funneled out. So the air conditioning doesn't work. There's no way to make it work. And so I learned that a while ago with the screen printing place that I worked 6 years ago, that it was just like, I spent 2 years doing this and it was so hot. We would just not wear shirts and just drip sweat. And it was like brutal. It was like literally a sweatshop. And that was a while ago. But now, 7 years have come and gone, whatever. And I'm like looking and I see that the shop that I used to work at is, the boss is nice too. He's a nice guy. His name is Dan too, just like you. And he goes, and so I texted him, I'm like, hey man, would you happen to need anyone just like a gig? Do you have any stuff to do at your T-shirt shop? He's like, actually, I do. It's funny I could use your help. And I'm like, oh, so like a gig. He goes, hey man, we need someone called in sick. We need your help for the next 3 days, And I'm like, what are we talking to here? And he's like, yeah, it's $20 an hour, whatever. I'm like, I'm worth a little more, but I told him, I said, I don't want to be like a production manager or anything. I don't want any stress. Give me like a brainless job where I'm just printing all day. And I know it's going to be hot in there. I know it's going to be like miserable conditions, but I just want a brainless job. And it's great because no customers are ever yelling at you. You can literally just wear headphones and just do a repetitive task all day long, even though it's uncomfortable. And I'm like, you know what? I'll do that for 3 days. I'll fucking do it. Right? Are you with me so far?
Yeah, sure.
You're remaining quiet and not interjecting your thoughts.
I'm taking it all in.
All right. Well, please. I mean, for the entertainment value of it, you might want to interject some thoughts once in a while. Right?
Okay. Okay. All right. Hold on. So you do the math. This is going to be $160 a day times 3, so $540.
But no. And then so then by the time taxes and everything are done, you'd be lucky to get out of there with a little bit, $400. Right? Yeah. So I'm doing that exactly.
And you're sweating your kishkas off for 8 hours or however long.
Yeah.
But the upside is you're not dealing with the public at all.
Right.
And you're just, I mean, there's worse ways to spend a day for sure.
So, okay. So thank you for doing the math. Cause that's of course the Heeb in this relationship, of course you're sitting there doing the math.
$480 gross. And that's if you work 8 hours a day.
Right. So here's the deal. This place is in Center City, Phoenix. I got to get in my little car and drive there and be there at 6 a.m, which means I got to wake up at 4, have my coffee. That's how you have to do it. And you clock out at 2:30 because by then it's scorching hot and it's about 100 degrees in the shop. You got to get.
I see.
So I mean, it's actually good the guy starts that early, but it's still hot no matter what. I mean, you wake up at 4 a.m. It's 90 degrees outside. It's just miserable. So anyway, I take the gig, only understanding that it was like, I'll help whatever you need me to do. I'll screen print. I'll catch shirts. I'll fucking box. Quality control, whatever. I know what to do in that place,
Sure.
Dan. So I get there, and the very first day, he, of course, the place is just kind of like. By the way, he wanted me to be a production manager. I called him a couple months ago.
I remember you told me this story on the previous.
Yeah, this is the same guy.
Yeah, okay.
It's the same guy who wanted me to be a production manager, and pay me a little bit south of 30, and I wanted more. To be under like the stress of running the whole shop, and I would have done that. I would
clap everyone along, right?
I would have clapped. And by the way, it's clapping people along, but it's stress, and you're dealing with customers, and you're clapping people, but you don't have to print. You know the whole story.
Sure.
But I said no to that. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't really enough money for the stress, and I wanted something brainless. Anyway, that was a couple months ago, so I called him again. Sure enough, here we go. So I go in under the understanding that it's going to do some sort of brainless whatever task. And I get there. And of course, now I can see why they need a production manager, because it's kind of chaos in there. You know what I mean? Like no one is clapping anyone along. And I just get there and I just walk. By the way, I show up my first day late, bro. Oh. That was great. They're like, be there at 6. And I'm on the road at 6. Like, was I supposed to be there at 6? I thought it was 7. I look at my text. I'm like, oh, fuck. So now I know I'm on the road. I'm already late my first day. But oddly enough, the old Bruce would have been horrified. Like, oh my God, I have to beg for mercy, whatever. I just didn't care, dude. Like literally I'm in the car, like I'm late. And I sent them a text.
I mean, what are they going to do to you?
Dude, I don't care.
Right,
I'm so old and jaded, and it's a temporary gig. And now I'm 56. And I'm just like, I'm a different person now than I was about 10 years ago when I was so fully involved in capitalism and just like, I need to make money and just work all the time. So now it was just like, I text them, hey, I'm running late. I don't know what to tell you. And they're like, are you experiencing car problems or anything? Did the alarm not go off? I'm like, I'm just like,
all right,
whatever.
All right. So you get there, you get on site.
So I get there and there's no boss, there's no production manager. And I start asking some teenager. Oh, okay. This is what I wanted to talk about. You're going to make fun of me. And I thought of you the minute that this happened because you're going to fucking love this part of the story. You're going to fucking love this part of the story. I thought about Dan all the time. Okay. You're going to love this. So I get there and I know there's going to be a bunch of young people, right? Like a bunch. And the guy is very progressive, And I love this about him. You know, I know like all these other stores are very MAGA heavy. This guy's on the other end of the spectrum and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I love working for this guy. Seriously. So I get there and there's a bunch of different kind of people that are working there, right? And I go there with this attitude like, I'm clearly the oldest guy in the fucking shop. Everyone else is 20s, 30s, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know them from nothing. And they're going to look at me like, who's this fucking boomer? They're going to look at me and go, who's this fucking boomer?
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
So I decide in my great wisdom that I'm going to walk in there. And the first thing that I'm going to do when I introduce myself to these people is ask everyone their pronouns, no matter who they are, across the board. I'm asking for pronouns.
What the, Bruce?
This
Why?
is what I do.
Why?
I knew you would love this. I knew that, dude. Just let me finish the story because I knew you would love this so much. And I'm throwing myself under the bus because I know you would love it. So anyway, I walk right up to these two dudes that are running the press that I should have known better because they're clearly just dudes, you know. But
you mean regular human beings?
They're just dudes. Yeah.
Regular people. Right.
All people are regular people, Dan. But it's just like
in this context. In this,
I don't. Okay.
How about
really
normies?
like
Can we call them normies?
No, I don't really like to. But the real term is mask presenting. If you really want to know, but that's beyond what you're gonna deal with. But just let me finish this. Masculine presenting.
Oh, MASC. Clearly, okay.
Yeah. So these guys, but just that you could tell they're like 20-year-old like dudes, you know, they're wearing like Harley shirts and stuff.
What's up?
They're like bros. Yeah.
What's up,
and so
bro?
My better half, like I started thinking like, I'm quite sure I know what their pronouns are. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to ask them. I know. But at the same context, I was thinking, hey man, this is how you get in trouble. If you assume some shit, especially with the younger progressive crowd, they're going to be like, why did you assume you know what I mean?
So you're there to do a job. Who gives a shit?
I don't care. I want to get it right. I'm progressing in this world. So I get there. I knew you would love this. So I get there and I go, hey, I'm Bruce. And they're like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, pronouns? And the look that these fucking two kids gave me.
Yeah.
Dan, they were like, huh? And I was just like, and they go,
good.
They go, I'm a dude. And
I hope
I'm
they
like,
stole your lunch money too.
They didn't. And so I was like, oh, okay. And so that went.
You know what I would have said? If you asked
that?
me, I would have said it. I prefer it.
Well, that would have been something you could have said, Dan.
It.
If you want to be in it, you can be in it. That's the beauty of it. And I asked them what they wanted to be. So anyway, I knew you would love that story. So I went to work, you know, just like they were putting me on some sort of press and I'm printing shirts or whatever. And by the way, then there was this other person who was printing. And I had a feeling that the pronouns thing was going to go better on this person, right? I could just tell. All right.
Was it
the moral of this story is I guess I should have trusted my judging a book
gives a shit one way or the other. How about you go there?
How about this?
Go there, do your job.
I walked up to the second person and I'm like, hey, I'm Bruce. I'm new here. And they're like, hey, I'm like, pronouns? And she goes, oh, she, they. Thank you very much. Like dead ass. She, they. Thank you very much.
What is that? So, okay, I need that explained to me.
I'll explain it to you, buddy.
How can you be
I will drag you into this world.
A she and a they? Explain.
Because you can be both if you want.
That doesn't make sense. I've heard of they, them.
Doesn't have to make sense.
But what's she, they? What does that mean?
It's just what she chooses to be.
Tell me what it means.
It means she can be both. You can be both. Yeah.
What if I want a third one? Can I be he, she,
they? You can be three too. You can.
I be he, they, it?
Yup.
Can I be?
That's not a real one, but I mean, if you wanted to be that, you could be that. That's why it's a great world. You can be what you want to be.
America is the leading distributor, packager of bullshit, as George Carlin once said.
That's you. We will let the listeners decide on what your opinion is and what mine is. Okay, but anyway, let me get back to the story. So she was you put
me in a bad mood now. Go ahead.
Well, hey, listen, I know you would make fun of me. Look, This part of the story that was so great that I thought of you immediately was when the two dudes gave me a look of fucking disdain.
They should.
When I asked them that.
They should. No, look, my
Go
opinion
ahead.
is not what
Go ahead. You go. Go ahead.
It's not what you think it is. I am not saying that this shit is. First of all, okay. Start at the beginning. I care about shit that affects people's lives, like healthcare and war. Okay. Now, this stuff that you're talking about is fine. I'm not against it.
You don't think it affects their lives?
To some extent, but not like having universal healthcare would, or having wages be what they should be, or having a living wage and a anyway. I don't want to get into politics, but I'm not against it per se. Like if you're going and meeting somebody and it's a personal situation, like let's say you're at a party or you're in a social situation, then I can understand it. I still wouldn't do it myself, but I can understand it. You walk into a job where you've never been before in your life. It's a job. And the first thing in your head, this is what blows my mind. The first thing in Bruce's head is, you know what? I want to know everybody's pronoun. It's like, what? Like I would be, for me, I'd be like, okay, I want to know where I need to go, what I need to do, where's my station, like what are my responsibilities, when can I leave, do I get a lunch break, right? That's what I care about, right? How much am I getting paid?
Understood.
When do I get paid? Every week? Is it every week?
Well, we're different people. That's what went through my head, and I will absolutely own it, and I would do it again. Do it again. So anyway, listen to this. If you want to yell at me some more about this, you can still go. I don't want to cut you off.
And no, it's not that you buy into this stuff like it matters. That's fine. That I'm cool with. What I am amazed by is that it was the first thing that entered your head.
Okay, here's the thing. It wasn't the first. That's a good point. It wasn't the first thing that entered my head. I don't know if you've ever worked in a warehouse or a print shop before, but I know what you're talking about when it's a job. If it's a job like an office job, you have a very good point. I'm here to work. I'm here to make money, whatever. T-shirt screen printing shops are kind of like, it is kind of like a social situation. Like you got the printer, you're all in one big room, you sort of talk, it's a very monotonous job. So people wind up talking a lot.
You can physically see the other people while you're doing
everyone's in the same room around a big belt dryer. These people are working over here, you're working here. And it's kind of like, all right. Okay. There's music going. So there's a lot of like.
All right. This helps. So
yeah. But you're right. If it was like a secular, like I'm going to work in my cubicle, I'm just keeping them to myself. I'll agree with you on that.
That's what I meant. Really, is that?
100%.
These people are like, what? Huh? Who are you?
But you know me that I'm like, okay, so now you know that part, but you know that I'm also ultra sensitive to. I might be hypersensitive as to what other people think of me. You know. And I was kind of like, I knew that I was like the old guy coming in here. And I know that people are in this shop. There are all types that are in the shop. There are all styles and whatever. And so I'm like, I would be so horrified to be the old white boomer walking in there and just to misgender someone and just whatever. And I'd be fucking horrified. Right. So, and I know your frustration with that, but I'm like, you know what? The way to cover my ass on that thing is I'm driving to work literally, and you're at like what? So I'm driving to work and I'm thinking, how am I going to handle this? You know,
Bruce, why don't we do from now on? I want you to misgender me. Please misgender me. I don't care.
I know that you're a he, him.
So anyway, I'm driving. We've never discussed it. How do you know?
You've told me. So anyway, I'm driving in. So Dan, listen, so I'm driving in and I'm thinking about that. Like I'm going to walk in and I know the layout of the place even, you know, I'm going to walk in, there's going to be these dudes here. There's going to be people over here. And I'm like, I'm going to introduce myself. You know what, Bruce, rather than take the risk of fucking up and being that old guy, I'm just going to go across the board and just ask everyone their pronoun. And both ways are not good. That's what I learned. Both ways are not good. So
what do you mean by that? What both ways?
So one way is to just walk in and look at a person and assume their gender and call them that. The other way is to
why would their gender even come up? You go, hey, what's going on? Hey, my name's Bruce.
Because then if you're okay, again, remember it's like a social situation, right? Everyone's sort of speaking. So say there's person catching t-shirts and say there's a person printing and I'm running in between, whatever. And it's like, hey, does Jen know down there that, or does Becky know down there that these are larges? We're running larges right now. I don't know. I talked to her lately, and no, she goes by there.
I see. So okay, all right. This is better. This is making you.
Is it coming? Is it a little coming into
making you seem less like a lunatic? Okay.
Yeah, dude.
So,
no, I know I'm kind of a lunatic, but
so
listen,
you're going. Okay. I wish you had led with this. I wish you had led. I wish you had led with. In a t-shirt printing operation, you have to interact heavily with the other people.
Yes, dude. Yes. I'm sorry.
And in the course of interacting in this day and age with everybody being young, I fear that I'm going to assume that some chick is a chick when she doesn't want to be a chick, right? Or whatever, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That not something I would do myself, but you seem like less of a lunatic.
Oh, thank you.
Should have led. We should have led with that. When you say I'm going to a job, I'm thinking the cubicle situation, or not a cubicle.
Oh my God,
say,
no! Look.
But I'm thinking a situation where you're in a corner folding shirts, and no one's interacting with you, and you randomly go up to people like a crazy person. Hi, I'm Bruce. What are your pronouns? Like you should be wearing a helmet, right? I mean,
yeah. Well,
okay. This helps.
I'm sorry.
You want to be down with the Zoomers. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You know what it is?
Enough.
Yeah. Because I know what it's like. I mean, I have a mirror. You know what I mean? I know what I look like. And I know what I look like to all these. And I know that I'm Gen X. But I know, and please don't put up the photo of me. I know that's what you're about to do right now.
No.
That was a clue to put it up, Dan. So I know what I look like. Thank you. And so when the kid on the left sees the guy on the right and goes, "Oh, this fucking guy."
Oh no. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this guy, not gonna like me. And I guess I'm like Costanza. I want to be liked.
I get it. I do.
Okay. But you're right. Like I should have led with that. Like I didn't, but you're right. If I'm gonna go into an office and just go to a cubicle and work, keep my head in the computer, I'm just not talking to people. I'm with you with that.
Okay. This helps. I'm glad. I wish you had led with that because I didn't realize that about a screen printing place, that you would be so heavily interacting with it.
Dude, it's crazy. You're all in one big room and there's usually a big stereo and people are like, "Hey, what do you want to listen to?"
You realize those two guys think like something's wrong with you at this point.
No, I want them over. Straight up. I'll tell you.
You have that ability. You do have that.
I do. Yeah. So, but I want. Okay, they hated me right off the bat because I said that, and I knew like I wanted to tell Dan.
And you knew right away there was trouble. Yep.
I knew right away, like as it was coming out of my mouth, I'm like, pronoun. They were like, huh? Like, right? But then the other person that said she, they was just, they looked at me, they looked at me like, "Oh, thank you." Like there was hope.
Let me ask you a question. Could they have passed for a dude?
Absolutely not. She was feminine presenting kind of.
So, okay. But they mean, I don't even want to get
hey, it could make a different episode. I could teach you about this new world we're living in.
I don't want to know this. I know
you just don't want to. You don't want to know. You don't want to listen. You don't care. So okay. So let me get back to another part of the story. But I knew you would like that, where I got looked at badly from those guys. So anyway, I start working a little bit, whatever. And then the boss comes in. He's like, "Hey man, I need your help today doing something." This is a totally different part of the story. I'm like, "Okay, what do you need to do?" He's like, "Well, there's, I have a job where we got to go put up some signs that I print. They all print all kind of things, t-shirts, signs, all this kind of shit." And he's like, "Can you help me put up signs, in this parking lot somewhere?" I'm like, "Oh, hey, me being like, I'll just, whatever you need me to do. I'm working for 3 days. Whatever you need me to do, I'll fucking do." You know what I mean? So they want, and I'm like, "Are we talking manual labor?" He's like, "Yeah, it's manual labor." And I'm like, "Outside?" He's like, "Yeah, Dan, it's been 114 degrees for the last 4 days."
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So listen, so he goes, "I need you to come help me put up some signs." Now, instantly, I know this is trouble. Instantly, I know this is just bad. It's hot outside and it's already 10 a.m. I'm like, "Where are we going?" He's like, "Oh, it's this big, it's kind of like this big concert venue and the signs." And then I'm like, "What are we doing?" And he shows me So you ever see these green stakes and the big pile driver thing that you put the stakes in?
Yeah,
It's
sure.
like
Yeah.
okay. So it's like that, but a really heavy duty one. Like, and the pipes are really big, and the pile driver thing is like 80 pounds, and it's just, this looks like grueling fucking work. And he downplays the whole thing, you know. He's like, yeah, it's just, you know, it's a couple, we put up a couple signs, then paint some stuff real quick. We'll be out of there in like an hour. I'm like, oh, really? We'll be out of there in about an hour. Yeah. He's like, Dan, when I tell you this turned out to be a 4-hour grueling, heavy manual labor, just sunburning, dehydration.
Why would he pick you for that?
Huh?
Why would he pick you for that?
I'm the worst choice in the shop for that.
Right.
Okay.
Because you're the old guy.
I'm the old guy. Thank you.
Why would he?
I'm the old guy asking for pronouns. Why would you ask me? You know, ask the obvious he hims who are 20.
Go for the young guy, the bros. Get the bros.
So I mean, but look, the whole thing, and I would have voiced resistance, but I'm like, I'm here for 3 days. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, it's just whatever. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to put a shine on it and be like, this will be some good workout stuff. I'm trying to lose weight, go to the gym, whatever. This will be a good workout. Right? Dan, get out there. And it's just, the sun is beating down. I can't even tell you how bad it was. And of course, I'm thinking about the poor Mexican guys who normally, this is what a lot of Mexican guys do all day long. Every fucking day. And by the way, my ass is burning up, dude. The back of my neck. I got a gallon of water like this. I ripped through this gallon of water in like easily like 40 minutes, right? I'm dying out there, right? And I'm stopping and he's just plowing forward, you know, because he's like a younger guy. He's like 35. And he's like, yeah, let's just do this. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm taking a break. And I'm starting to give a little lip too. You know what I mean? Even though this guy's my boss.
Yeah.
And he respects me because I'm a little bit older.
I mean, he just lied to you like an hour. Who are you kidding?
What do you mean a couple? What do you mean an hour? So we get out there and it's brutal work and I'm sunburning and whatever. And I'm just dripping sweat, whatever. Then I get back and I was just like, oh my God. And that was like, and by the way, it's an hour there. It's an hour back. So it's like a 10-hour day, sweating like hell in the shop all day. I printed shirts. I did this. I did that. I mixed inks. I did all this crap. And then we went out in the heat and we did that. That was the first day. I get home and Ro's like, hey, honey. Ro was funny. She had a little music queued up. She knows how miserable I was. She likes to tease me the same way Kara likes to tease you, right?
Right.
This is why we love our women. So I come walking in after she knows what is probably a morale-breaking, soul-crushing day because I'm back at work after 2 years.
Where you pocketed $100, right?
Like, yeah. And so the whole way home, I'm thinking, 100. What was the math on that per day? Like $160, if
no,
that.
You 160 is gross. So you're gonna walk away with. I mean, you're not gonna pay income tax on that, but you'll figure $130.
Yeah. So I'm like driving home after spending and I walk in the door and I was like, it's been 10 hours since I walked out the store. Now I'm coming back 10 hours for $130. I'm thinking, not worth it. Not fucking remotely. Like, I would rather, it's like, I don't even know. I would rather 3-minute gay kiss. I don't know. I mean, just like that was not worth it, bro. That was not worth it in the least bit. Right.
Let me ask you a question. This is fun.
Sure. Please interject for the sake of the show as much as possible.
So let's say, would you rather what you did with the
You're breaking up. Go ahead.
Would you rather the scenario you presented to me,
right,
where you're making an effective wage of $13 an hour because it's 10 hours, right? Right. But let's say I give you an alternative and I say, all right, Bruce,
here we go.
I'm going to get you way more money. I'm going to get you $500 for the day. An effective wage is $50 an hour. Right?
I can't wait to the creativeness of what you're coming up with right now. What's coming down the pike?
But the shop you're going to go to is is crazy right-wing Make America Great Again shop where they're printing up the number 40, whatever number it is he prints up now, 47, whatever it is. And you got to work with a bunch of guys in the grunt wear, and they're all fired up and the Stop the Steal and hey, we're gonna show those libs what it's all about. But you're making good money. Okay. Which would you still take the measly $13 an hour?
Oh, 100%. I'm not being in a room full of MAGA dudes. Absolutely.
Okay,
not.
so let's go to $100 an hour. Let's say you can make $1,000 for the day. They want the best, Bruce. They know that you're the best. You're the best screen printer, and they don't care. They know your politics. They don't give a shit because they know you're good. But you got to listen to them talk all day. They're going to talk about how we're going to take America back and we're going to drain the swamp. And Nancy Pelosi has horns and she eats children.
Because it's like I described before. It's a social environment. Everyone's talking and just
yeah. But look. I mean, you can roll your eyes and laugh at them all you want. They don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever. But you're making big bucks. Like
$1,000 so a day.
A day.
And is it the same situation where it involves a little manual labor? Like absolutely identical.
Same situation.
Yeah.
But
okay,
people around you.
Dan, that's a good question.
I can't believe
turned down
no to $500.
Oh, absolutely not.
Who cares what their politics are? Who cares?
They're fucking blood boiling. $1,000 I'd do it. $1,000
Let me tell you something. For the right wage, I would work around someone who claims they hunt potbelly pigs for sport, right? And I would hate that. I would think to myself, you're a douchebag, but I don't care. It's a job and I want money.
Would you do it? Let me ask. So to answer your question, I would do it. I would do it for the $1,000. I would, and because that's a lot of money.
Good.
And it would be tough, but it's the same situation. I could just sort of like, whatever, and just try not to let it.
You just roll your eyes and whatever. Who cares?
Let me ask you this: so you would do it with people that abuse potbelly pigs? You would do it?
Look, me being there or not being there is not going to change them, right?
Let me ask you this: would you do it with literal Nazis that are wearing arm patches with swastikas, in the office?
Are you paying
really?
Well?
Wow.
Don't care.
You don't have any morals or ethics whatsoever.
As long as they're not violent to me. So if they're coming at me trying to throw me on a train, then that would be different. But if all they're doing is wearing a shirt and a patch, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I can disagree with you all day long. I don't.
You don't care, but you don't care about a person's morals or ethics or anything like that.
Not in that context, because I'm literally going to do a job. Whether I go to that job or someone else goes to that job, nothing's going to change.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So anyway,
and I believe humans are garbage no matter what. Like whether it's because of that, whether it's because of that or some other reason. Not all people, but most people are garbage. They are.
So. Let me get back to where I was. So that was the first day, right?
Yeah.
By the way, I love your question. I love it when you come up with questions for me about either or, and you make me pick out of two very.
I can't believe you said no to $500 a day just because you don't like their politics.
Dude.
Give us a shit. It's only 3 days. That's the other thing.
No, dude, it's too icky. It's too.
But
gross.
1,000 you would do.
1,000 I would do. Everyone's got a price. There's not much. Hey Dan, there's not much difference between 500 and 1,000, really. So you found the range. Yeah. Okay, you know what? I am morally flexible. I say that about myself all the time. I'm morally flexible.
Of course.
I'm not one of these guys that's like etched in stone.
Let me ask you a question.
Here we go. I love it.
No, this is about me. I want to shift because I have a similar quandary.
Oh,
some kind of similar quandary.
Okay, so let's definitely talk about this. But that was day one of printing. I need to talk about day 2 and 3. Other things happen.
All right, go ahead.
No. I want to interject with your thing.
Oh, so you may know that I started a new gig in June. So June, July, I'm in my 3rd month.
Yeah.
I am a contractor. I'm not an employee. And it's a very small company. And I'm working mainly with one other guy who's been there a while. So, and I wouldn't say he's my boss, but he's been there a long time and he knows how stuff gets done. And he's sort of guiding. He's like the guy I deal with, which makes sense, right? Because I don't know how they do things. I'm still sort of figuring that out.
Yeah.
I get the sense that this guy is a little bit on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of, and it's common in this business anyway. He's sort of
the IT business, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
He's really difficult to read, and he talks to me like I'm 12. And I don't think he's doing it on purpose. I don't think he's doing it because he thinks I suck or anything like that. I think it's just his. I think it's his way.
Yeah.
But it's getting really fucking annoying.
So, so do you? Let me interject. Do you deal with this guy strictly in a remote situation?
Strictly remote. Yeah. He's in New Jersey.
You've never been in a room with this guy before.
Never.
Are they Zoom calls where you see his face and he's looking at your face?
Not even. It's text. It's on a thing called Slack, which is like text.
I know Slack. So it's only Slack.
Once in a blue moon, we'll do a voice call without video, voice only.
Do you pick up more of the attitude on the voice calls than the texts? I mean, you must. You pick up more from voice than texts.
I would say it's a little less bad on voice, honestly.
Wow. That's interesting. I would think it would be okay. So, but go ahead with the story.
So
forgive me for interrupting.
My quandary is this.
Yeah, tell me the quandary.
I'm getting paid very well. It's a good. Otherwise, it's a pretty good job. They don't hassle me. Like they don't care as long as I get my shit done. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
which is all I ask for, and I have no real complaints.
Right.
But this guy makes me nuts because it's like, dude, I'm 51 years old. Don't talk like I'm 12. Like,
give me an example of it. Give me an example of the kind of text that he would send. You don't have to do it outright, but like, what's the kind of text that you would read that's like rubs you the wrong way? That's what we're getting at.
It's all technical stuff, so it's hard to give a good example. But basically, he
talks to you like you're dumb, like
sort of. I mean, I'm not. So I'm new to the organization, and the way they do things is different than what I'm used to, which is to be expected. Right? It's no different than any business. Like you could be a screen printer for your whole life. You go to a shop that does things a different way.
You got to do it their way.
You got to learn it and figure it out. It doesn't mean you got to
be a little humble right off the bat.
Which I have been, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I'm new. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm new. I don't know what I'm doing. But this guy, like, it's extremely frustrating because rather than saying, hey, the way you did this is fine, but this is how we like to do it, I wouldn't care. It's the tone and the way he uses the language in such a way that it's like, dude, I'm not 12. Like,
and it's starting to irritate you, and now it is
irritating me. So here's my question.
Please tell me.
I figure I have I have 3 options, right?
Okay.
I have 3 options. Option 1, I can go to the head guy, the owner, and not complain and be like, look, man, I'm not complaining. This isn't me complaining, but I don't know this guy very well. And I get this vibe and you know him better than me. So does he not like, do you think he doesn't like me? Does he think did I do something to piss him off? Okay. That's option 1. Option 2 would be go directly to the guy. Like, look, man, you probably don't mean anything by this, but it's coming off like you're talking to me like I'm 12. And hash it out. Option 3 is say, fuck it. I'm getting paid well. Who gives a shit? And ignore it. And so far I've gone with option 3.
Yeah, that's a good question for me. Let me ask you this. So how long have you been at this new job with this guy?
Just since June 1st.
So like 3 months?
2.5, yeah.
And how early into it did you sort of get a sense that this guy was talking down to you and just like it was rubbing you the wrong way?
Pretty early, but I also suspect, and at one point the wife was listening in on one of the calls. She's like, yeah, I don't think she goes, yeah, he comes off like an asshole, but I don't think he knows that. Meaning, because I think it's common in this business where these are tech guys. Like, these are not people with social skills.
They don't have social skills.
And
I mean, you have a lot more social skills.
I am way better than the average guy who does what I do. And
and you've got fucking problems. Let me tell you.
And I do have problems, 100%. 100%. But in this world, I'm like, I'm basically, I'm like Pat Sajak, I'm like a game show host. Hey. So anyway,
all right. So you're asking
what would Bruce do? I think Bruce would go straight to the guy. Or would Bruce say, fuck it, I don't care?
So how, but this is your new job, and this is not a temporary gig. This is your new thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But do you only have to, how often do you have to deal with this guy with the texts? Is it like every day this is going on?
It's not quite every day. So in other words, I'll go a day or two because what happens is the way it works is I write code and I send it up to him to look at, because look, I shouldn't be pushing any code yet. I don't know how they do shit. I don't want to fuck anything up because there's shit.
And then he sends something back to you and it's like, hey, you need to do blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, I know.
Yes, that basically,
exactly.
Right, okay. Exactly.
What's my ruling on this? Well, this is a tough one, and
It is a tough one.
It is, and I can totally see the quandary. Now, I'll tell you what, I would definitely not do the option where I go directly to the guy because it's too early in the situation. You're right, and you've never met him face to face. You don't have a real way of getting a real sense of what this guy's deal is. You know how when you talk to a person in a room, like physically talking.
Well, yeah. I think if I was
really
in a room
tell
with him,
like
this would
what
be
kind of
hashed out.
person
It would be
you're
hashed out
dealing
in
with.
2 seconds. Yes.
Yeah, so you would know how to handle that situation a little bit better. But this one, I think I'd roll with option 3 a little while and just fucking roll with it for a little bit and give it another month or two. But if it's still, here's the thing, because you're balancing in your side, and I do this all the time. It's pissing me off. Do I just take it or do I do something about it? Do I take it or I do something about it, right? And that's the scale.
Understanding that if you do something about it, you
could cause problems.
Invite more annoyance for yourself.
But if you continue to take it, you're definitely creating annoyance for yourself. So it's a lose-lose.
So you're saying give it 30 to 60 more days, see where we're at.
I'm giving it a couple more days. 30 to 60 more days.
Okay.
And I'm going to really, during the 60 or 30 days, I'm going to also try to look inward and say, maybe I'm the problem. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you this, Bruce, though. I'll pat myself on the back for a minute. For all of my negatives, and I have many negatives.
Many.
That is one thing that I always do. Because in my life,
I'll give that to you.
In my life, I am so used to being socially awkward, saying the wrong thing, being the problem in that sense, that I always immediately assume it's me.
Yeah.
But this is different because this is like a work thing. This isn't social. But
all work things are social to some level. But I mean, this is pretty cut and dry.
If I were in his shoes and I had been somewhere a long time, and I was kind of overseeing someone starting up, and I've been in that situation, I would go out of my way to make them not feel stupid because I know how that is. It sucks when you're the new guy and you don't know anything.
Yeah, but not everyone's that way. Like a lot, like you said, this guy might have a bit of the tism going on, and he might also just be like some sort of prick. And just like, I got to deal with this new guy, you know what I mean? Show him the fucking ropes. And he's irritated. But I mean, I'd give it a couple more months and keep your own emotions in check and take inventory of that at the whole time. And meanwhile, at the end of the 30 or 60 days, you're like, you know what? This guy's fucking pissing me off. And I don't like being talked to in that way. I really don't. So then
at the end of the 30, 60 days, you go straight to him?
No, I go to the main boss, and I don't do it and accuse it. Never go to the guy because if he's got the tism, whatever, it's only going to make it worse. You go to the main boss, but you really got to do it like very non-accusatory. You like say something like, "Hey man, look, is it just me or is this guy? I mean, he seems to be talking to me in a way that seems a little." I mean, talking down to me like a child. I mean, if that's just the way he is, that's fine. I'm just having a hard time reading this guy and getting a sense out of what kind of person he is. If this is just the way he is, man, then that's fine. I just want to know. I'm certainly not going to cause problems. I don't want to, I just kind of want to know, like, you've dealt with this guy. I'm new here. Is this just the way he is? And if that is, I'm used to dealing with all kinds of different personalities. And now that I know that, I'll just deal with it. But I just want to know because it's kind of rubbing me the wrong way. And I just want to know what we're dealing with here. And I think that your boss would be like, he'll either say, I've never thought of him that way. He seems to be just fine with me. You're like, okay, then that's fine. That's me. Or he goes, yeah, Dan, the guy can be, you know what I mean? He's kind of on the spectrum a little. He can be very direct. And so he doesn't have a lot of social graces. And you'd be like, well, that's fine. Keep the whole thing very lighthearted and just you're seeking information, you're seeking communication. That's what I would do. But I would not go to the dude directly and be like, hey, man, you got a fucking problem with me. I mean, I use that a lot, but not in this situation. I don't think I would use you got a fucking problem.
Okay. I'm going to give it a month and see where we're at. All right. Back to day 2 of Sweatville.
Okay. So day 1, I come home from day 1 and I'm like fucking miserable. Like, and Ro is funny. She's got a song queued up on her phone. And I walk in, and all of a sudden I hear, My baby takes the morning train. He works. So it's the Kramer song when he
Yeah,
had
yeah,
crackers in
yeah,
his
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
suitcase.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so she's like, "How was your first day?" And I'm like, "Oh, right."
Baby.
And so she's like, "Oh, whatever." And I told her I was late. I told her about the he him thing. I told her about the fucking day labor. And I'm like, this is just a nightmare, right? She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And Ro has some empathy because Ro had a situation where when she tried to go back to work one time too, she actually cried at a job interview because it was so
Wow.
stressful. You know what I mean? And so I wasn't quite there, obviously, but I mean, she knows that it's not fun because the both of us have been like not working, and we love not working, just love not fucking working, right? So second day, I get to work on time, whatever. And this day was a little bit better since the place is kind of poorly run. I just like for a couple hours, I just kind of did nothing, just kind of like, hey, I want to teach you how to do this. And someone was trying to, they was teaching me how to do stuff. And I was just like, and it's very social because she's teaching me how to like mix ink and stuff like this. And I'm just like, yeah, I like that kind of music too, And we're just like talking and stuff and just watching the hours flick by and whatever. I'm like, this is fucking great, But then it got a little more unpleasant. I had to do some bullshit, whatever. I know what I had to do. I had to cut a lock off the back of a truck. Again, not screen printing, right? You would love this. It was kind of like henchman kind of work, right? There's like this seriously, and again, it's outside. So there's this big truck outside, a big box truck with a big old fat padlock on it, right? And it's like, oh, for some reason it was like, this is our truck. Someone put a padlock on it. We don't know who. It's in a bad area. And Bruce, what are you gonna like they're looking at me like the fucking elder that knows the answers to things, right? Like even the boss and everybody, like no one knows what's going on. And they're like, hey, what's going on? We need this truck. I'm like, yeah, it's got a padlock on it. What do we do? Do you got the key? No, I don't know. Do you got an angle grinder? You got an angle grinder? Yeah, I think so somewhere around. I'm like, let me handle this, right? So I go and I look around the messy tool section. I find the angle grinder. I find the fucking cutting wheel. I find the extension cord. No one's telling me what to do. I'm just grabbing the fucking reins at this point, Dan. That's why I'd be a good henchman for you and your needs, because this is what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, this is what Dan would have me doing, right? So I fucking get the angle grinder. I put it together. I go out, and it's hard work. It's hard to cut this thing off. It's for whatever reason. It took like an hour and a half. I finally got the thing cut off. Again, 114 degrees. It's blaring down, and I'm just out there, just like, fuck. This is not screen printing. Right?
Did you get it off?
Of course I got it off.
Yeah, all right.
And then
you go home, day 2, you go home. Should she play the song again?
I got the morning train. I'm like, okay. So now I'm like, I just got to get through day fucking 3 at this point, right? And I'm already thinking about, well, they're going to ask, what if they ask me back for, on Monday? I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to handle that situation. Well, let's see how Friday goes. Friday shows up. I take the morning train, whatever. I go to work, and Dan, he's like, we have more signs to put up in that parking lot. Really? And I go, and it's like, and the guy goes, it's a little more work than last time. And I'm thinking, oh, it's a little more work than last time.
Entire day.
Dan, an entire day.
Yeah.
And we could have gotten out there early before it got too hot, but no, 10 a.m. By the time we get their shit together, whatever, we're going out and hire, and so bring some other kid comes with us because it's so much work. And it's some young kid who's like 20, And
it's
so
just amazing they would pick you to do this.
I'm the worst. Look, I'm not in terrible shape, Dan.
No, but you're 50. You're like 60. You're like almost.
Yeah, I'm an old guy. I mean, put the picture back up. I mean, look, would you ask that guy? You'd ask the guy on the left. I'm asking the dude on the left to pile drive signs in, not this old fat guy on the right. So, I mean, clearly. So, Dan. So, okay. So here we are. It's Friday. It's 114 degrees. Get rid of that picture. Thank you. So 114 degrees. We all go back out there again and pile drive more signs out there. I'm like, how many signs do we got to do? Dan, I'm like, how many signs do we got to do? We got to do 5 signs. Each one has 2 big poles, and they're big. They're big 8-foot posts. You got to get on a ladder and fucking pile drive these things in there. And it's not even, Dan, it's not tapered like a nail. It's just a solid thing going in like that. Like there's a million things that don't make sense about this at all. And nothing's really thought out or anything like that. And I'm like, I'm just trying to hold it together at this
You should have
point.
faked an injury.
Dan, I pulled out the old man card. I did. I'm like, you know what? My meniscus, I have a torn meniscus, which is true. And I'm like, I'm here to work. I'm not being a total pussy. I'm there to work, and I'm doing stuff.
I'd be like, look, I did this on Wednesday. This is a bit much.
No, I fucking, Dan, to use a better term, I manned up. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's do this. You know what I mean?
You they-them'd up.
I fucking they-them'd up, bro. And I was out there and I'm just like, let's do this. And I gave it whatever. And the guy this time, he had a fucking sunblock. I'm like, oh, good, sunblock. And this time I learned and I brought my schmata, like the fucking thing I wear out in the desert. And I brought my gloves. I thought like this motherfucker, I bet we're going to go back out there again. So this time I had sneakers, the protection, the gloves, all this shit. And I was ready. Didn't matter because it was 114 degrees out. And this time it was like a good 5 hours out there, dude. 5 fucking hours out there. And I'm like near death, bro. I'm just like, I'm just dying, dude. This is not screen printing, right? So then it's like, it's time to go. Let's get out of here, whatever. Now, meanwhile, I'm on a diet. So I'm like, I'm looking to go back and just go eat my like green beans that I brought into work. He goes, I'll take you guys out to lunch. I'm like, it's great. Where are we going? Burger King, right? Ooh. And the guy's a vegetarian. I'm like, why are we going to Burger King? He's like, oh, they have the Impossible Burger.
They have the Impossible Burger,
yeah. So I'm like, okay, we're going to Burger King, whatever. And I'm like, it's your treat, right? Meanwhile, I'm kind of being a prick now at this point. I'm like, it's your treat? What do you?
Was that like the schmata that you
it's
wore?
It's very close. Yeah. That's clearly a store-bought thing. Mine is a homemade, like a homeless person would.
Listen, man, I have learned. And
this is smart though, Dan. Real smart.
Listen, the wife had been telling me this forever, and I'm like, shut up. Because I always wore a baseball cap. I'm like, that's all I got to wear is a baseball cap.
No, dude.
Well, let me tell you, she was
Your
right.
Your wife is right, dude. This is the setup.
Makes everything better. Because
everything
keeps the sun off your head, sun off your neck. It's ventilated, so your head stays as cool as it can.
It's got these little vents, so it comes off your bald head, and just fucking the heat just fucking comes right out, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can now get out in the middle of the day when it's peak heat and mow or do whatever, and it's fine.
Bro, this is like Farmer Dan. I love that. It's essentially a very similar setup to that, but it's like a homemade thing, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm almost done. I know you got to get out of here.
No. I have more questions for you.
All right, good. So okay. So now I was like, let's go to the Burger King, and I'm like, I don't want to go to the Burger King. I know you're gonna pay for it. I don't care. I got to get out of here. I just want to get in my own car and turn on the air conditioning and go back and eat my green beans and just fucking stew. You know. He's like, no, you can't do that because you're driving the kid back. My car's full. You got to go in the Burger King. Now I'm an addict. We all know this. And I've been on this great diet for like the past 2 weeks. I got down to 159. I'm 159, right?
Wow.
And in the beginning, 2 weeks ago, I was 175. So I'm down, bro. And that's just from no sugar and no.
And all you're eating is green beans.
I eat a lot of green beans with fried eggs and stuff.
Okay. All right.
And there's meat and stuff like that. It's like protein, right? Anyway. So we go into Burger King and he goes, you can have whatever you want. Now, right now, Dan, I am famished. And I'm so cheap that when he says it's on me, the diet goes out the window. And I don't get it.
You got to get that Impossible Burger, man. Those things are good.
Fuck the Impossible Burger. Give me the double Whopper. I said, give me the double Whopper. I want the large. And then I use like a pig. Whenever you're ordering fast food, if you use the word additional, that's the fat guy move, right? So I'm like, give me the fucking double Whopper meal with the cheese. I want to go large. I want to substitute the onion rings. Also, can I have an additional chicken wrap? Yeah, give me an additional chicken wrap.
Wait, you made a double Whopper and double Whopper and a chicken wrap?
Double Whopper, additional chicken wrap, large fries. And they had some advertising that worked on me. Do you go to Burger? I haven't been to Burger King in years.
Once in a blue moon, I did.
Bro, they had this thing on the wall, on the thing. It said super fiery hot menu. So it's like some sort of like a strawberry lemonade, with tahini powder in it to make it
Jesus
hot.
Christ,
Dude.
Bruce.
And I didn't even know what it was. I'm not even thinking clearly. There's just a big picture of it. And I'm just like, give me that. Be like a child with keys rattling around in my face. I'm like, give me that. And I haven't by this time, I haven't had sugar in 2 weeks. So
Oh, no.
okay. So now I get all
you
this.
get home. I want to
Bro.
fast forward you getting home. Go ahead.
I can send you a picture. You don't want to see
got
it.
home and you just like sprawled.
So okay, so Dan, so now I'm
devour.
there.
Did you eat
I'm
all
there.
of that? Did you eat it
So
all?
yeah, the food comes, Dan, and I'm like, I'm so hungry. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to eat all this. And I did. I ate all that. I just fucking ate all of it. And immediately I texted you a horrible picture, by the way. So
So you eat a double Whopper, a chicken wrap, fries, and some strawberry lemonade with hot sauce?
A hot one. It's like it's a hot, and I was drinking this, and I'm like, "What is this? I don't even like it." And it was like hot. It was literally hot.
Oh no! Oh, Bruce!
For the viewers that are, I just texted Dan a toilet bowl shot. Yeah. And I don't care if you share that with people. This is not a family show, you know. So anyway, so I ate all that stuff, and that.
Bruce. Okay, so here's what I need to know: how much time had passed between eating that stuff and then that picture?
This picture is midnight.
Oh, hours. So you got home, you got the sugar high, you got the carb high. You probably get home and are just like
I got home at 3:00 and went immediately to bed.
Yeah.
Immediately to bed. I went immediately to bed. I wake up at 11 o'clock and my stomach is gurgling. Yeah, I'm like, oh fuck. And I go into the bathroom and this is what happened. And it fucking shot out of me like, what the fuck? And I was in pain, bro. Like it hurt my hemorrhoids and everything. But anyway, so I ate. So that was Friday. So I ate the Burger King that he paid for, and he was like,
well,
looking at me.
I think technically you paid for it. If you know.
Oh no, I did. But I was ordering. Can I have the additional chicken wrap and all this? He's looking at me, and I'm like, you're paying for it, right? It's on you. At this point, I'm a little salty, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna eat some fucking shit right now. Let's go, you know. So like, so then I get home on Friday. And I get home and I raced out of there like hey, you have to work till 2:30. 2:29, I'm out the door. I don't even ask about the pay. I don't ask about the paycheck. Total, by the way, total Irish goodbye. Like all these friends and the they thems that I was friends with and talking to all week, gone by. I just left, right? Just got in my car and ran home. And so by the way, Ro is in Hawaii, so I'm home to myself, and I'm like, okay, now I can just do whatever I want. So immediately I just fapped. You know what I mean? I just fucking fapped. And then I fell right asleep, and then I woke up and did that horrible picture. And then like later on, I think it was the next morning, one of the people at the office called me, you know, and they're like, hey, we really like the work that you did. You did a lot of good work and stuff. And would you be interested in coming back on Monday? And then I thought about, let's get back to the math. Okay. So I did what I did for 3 days, heavy labor out in the sun one day, the second day cutting the lock off the back of the truck, second day, back to the signs on the third day, heavy labor, with some screen printing in a very hot shop intermittently. The hour there and back, I'm looking at about 10 hours a day where I'm hot all day, literally sweat, just dripping, right? And what do you get for that? $380. Here's $380. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not doing that again. I'm
30 hours of your life and you get $380.
I mean, it just was like, and it was just kind of like, wow, and this is after 2 weeks of
$12.67 an hour is your
and so this is kind of like I was like W-9, you know what I mean? So all kinds of bullshit taxes are taken out of it, whatever. So and so it was like, what am I doing? Like, I don't want to do this. Like,
not worth
And
it.
it's like, and I would just like, well, and then Ro was trying to make me feel better. Like, well, you did generate some money, you know, and you don't have any money coming in. I'm like, I would rather be homeless. Like, really, I would rather just like live at East Jesus, shit in a bucket, and just, I'm not, it didn't, you know what I mean? Like, you want money, but and this is the lesson I learned. Like, what are you doing for the money? Like, what's the payoff? It wasn't enough to do that again. And so I called the lady back again. I was like, she's like, "Oh, you want to come back on Monday?" I'm like, no. She's like, really? I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't want to. And I didn't feel the need. By the way, this is another thing I'm doing with my life. Other than asking for pronouns all the time, I've stopped giving reasons for my decisions. That's another thing. So like, really, you know how like it would be like, oh, I'm not going to come in. The reason is because I want to do this and it's blah, blah, blah. No, it's just the word no is a complete
No,
sentence.
period.
Yeah. And it feels rude in a way, but I love it. It's just like, because you type in, no, I really appreciated it, but really I need to work on my art and I have to do this. I got to go see my grandfather, whatever. No, you just then delete that.
I remember I did that at Estee Lauder one time and you loved it. They asked me to do something.
And you loved it too. It felt good.
I did.
So Dan, so that is my story about working for 3 days and having the all these stories that went along with it. And I was thinking while I was doing all this, I'm like, well, at least this is going to be some good material for the podcast, right? I knew it'd be good material for the podcast. But tell me your thoughts on all that.
I mean, I'm surprised you took it to begin with, to be honest. I mean,
I am too, bro.
And it's not because it's a job. It's because, you know, you will have invested 3 days of your life, 3 days of misery, and you're walking away with like less than $400.
Well, okay. I'm bad at math. Okay. So when it was like said, hey, you know, you get like $20 an hour and stuff like that. Now I didn't ask too many questions. I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be like cash under the table.
That would be different. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. If that would be a little better if he handed you the equivalent of $20, the full amount of money, like
what's 8 times 3?
224.
And what's that times 20?
24 times 20?
Yeah.
480.
He probably, I mean, look, 480. Here's another 20 to round it up. Here's $500. In my head, I'm thinking.
Yeah, if he had put $500 in your hand.
Yeah, bro.
Okay. All right. I mean, for me personally, I still wouldn't have done that.
No. But also, here's another thought. In my head, okay, we're all guilty of this. Sometimes in my head, I tend to romanticize the past a little bit and make it a little bit better than it really was, right?
Yeah.
So maybe like since that was a while ago, I think about the good times I had in the screen printing shop, and you know, it wasn't so bad. And you know, like when I got back in there, I'm like, I know I'm guilty of this. I'm like, oh, it was bad. Yeah, dude, it's hot in here.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, all, you know, everything in life is cost benefit, right? It's all about, I mean, if they called you back and they said, okay, Bruce, we want you to come back and do that again, but you know what? We're going to give you $50 an hour this time. Then you may not do it, but at least it's a thought. It's a decision. It's like, oh, well, now I'm taking home $300 a day, you know.
It's so, and it's just so funny because it speaks to the larger problem that we're having in America. It's like just paying people. How much difference is it really to the grand 300 to 500? It's like we're right in that threshold to a business owner where people, I'm like, I'm not doing that to just give them a little more. And it's like, okay, I'll do that. You know what I mean? And it just seems like I kept on thinking about the numbers. I'm like, it's not that far off. But they just don't want to do it. I mean,
it's it's a game. It's like how cheap can you get shit? And the problem now, honestly, more than anything, is that people are working and still can't afford basic necessities because of inflation. So well, I mean, if wages had gone up enough to where, okay, hey, we're not going to give you 20 an hour. No way, man. We're going to give you 45 an hour. Okay, you know, but it's just it's not tenable, and we have sent away too many good jobs to overseas cheap labor markets. There's just not enough good jobs left here in the United States, and so you're left with a group of people who are kind of fucked. They're like, well, what am I supposed to do? You know?
Yeah, there are definitely jobs, but they just don't pay enough. So like, and that's what I learned.
meant. There aren't enough living wage jobs available.
Yeah.
you have the professional managerial class. That's what I do. Who work,
Yeah.
do not, you know,
I get
knowledge,
good money. Good money.
work on a laptop, and I'm
Yeah.
fortunate, and that's me. And look, that's great, and I'm one of the lucky ones. But like, it just, there used to be always manufacturing jobs. There, you know, 50
Yeah.
years ago, if you worked your butt off and you worked at a factory, you made enough money to where you could have a car.
And
You,
I wanted to do that too. Like I wanted to go in and just like, since I'm tired of the managerial stuff and I'm tired of people yelling at me, I'm tired of the stress. I'm like, I'll do some like real monotonous work in a warehouse and
yeah,
just, and that should be pay a living wage too. It really should. I mean, I saw this meme the other day that made a lot of sense. It's like, you remember that old like boomer thing that we used to also hear, like, oh, it's a starter job. You know what I mean? It's just like intro level. This is an intro level job, whatever. I'm like, oh, for young people
well,
working at
that would
fast
be
food.
one thing if we had enough entry
Well,
level
here's
jobs,
the thing.
but we don't.
But the meme said, it's interesting that our entry level jobs, is there entry level food or entry level bills or entry level apartments? No.
No.
Right. And that's a really good meme. So I'm like, damn, that makes a lot of sense. And so I find myself, if anything else, for me to do this the past 3 days was a really kind of cool social experiment to really get a taste of like reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, what will you do? What is worth doing something? And it had like kind of a good effect because like at the end of it, I was driving home on that third day and I'm like, I got to get some artwork. I got to make some artwork. And I was thinking, oh, 300. I've sold one painting before for $380. One painting. And I remember making a painting and I loved making it. I was just making it at home. It's a beautiful piece of art. And I sold it and it was $380. And for what I just did for $380, sweating my ass off for 3 days in a parking lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is that $380? Like that? No fucking way, dude.
I was
really
the other
close.
day I got a phone call from a girl I used to work with at my Estee Lauder job, and real nice. You'd like her. She's Asian, just your
Ooh,
type.
hey now, thick.
I've never met her in person, so I don't know.
Oh.
But she's great. And she just did that. She just quit that job
Right.
and said, I'm gonna live off savings and I'm just gonna chill. And she's trying to do what she's not an artist. Her thing is like yoga and breath work, whatever.
I mean, whatever it is, it's like a personal gig thing. Yeah, I love
that's
it.
her passion. She's trying to do that. So I was like, I thought of you, and I'm like, that's great. I'm like, you have to do what your passion. You have to do shit. If you're gonna quit your job, I mean, yeah. So yeah.
But is it probably now? Is it paying her bills?
Well, right now she just left that job. So she's sort of just kind of chilling. She's kind of bed rotting like you.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. But she wants to build something out of that. But anyway, I just liked her. I thought she was one of the people I worked with there that I really liked. Who was good. Most people there were bad, but she was good. Yeah. I have to introduce you.
You should.
Yeah.
She on Facebook?
I got to find out. Oh, I'll tell you offline. I'll give you her name offline.
Yeah.
She's pretty cool. She I didn't ask the question, but she said she's not speaking to her parents right now. I'm like, oh, probably because of the Asian thing, because they tend to they tend to be super strict, and you quit your job. What are you, crazy?
Yeah, I mean, Ro is dealing with that right now. She just went to Hawaii to deal with her very elderly parents, right? And one of them, the mom is serious dementia, like doesn't know. It's really sad. It's horrible, and I feel bad for her. She's got to go deal with this crap. You know what I mean? But like, the dad is just gives her a hard time. It's an unpleasant situation for her. But the Asian family ethic is so. Yeah, I find it very interesting because it's different than us white people.
Way different.
Because she was dealing with the mom, like the family ties are strong, and she was dealing with the mom and the dad, and things are getting difficult, and they're respecting, they want to live in the house and stuff. And I'm like, it's a good thing you're not white, Ro. She goes, what do you mean? I'm like, we would have thrown their asses in the fucking home ages ago. Oh, and she's like, oh, we don't. You would throw your parents in a fucking nursing home, and I'm like, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
The minute that I go, the minute, and like the area that I grew up in, and look, it's not just speaking to me and how horrible that I am. White people in general back east, this is what we do. I mean, this is part of the culture. The minute your parents kind of get too old and whatever, it's like, you know what? You're going in the home. I don't want to go in the home. I want to live in my home. You're too fucking bad. You're going in the home, And so Ro was like, "Oh, I could never do that to my parents. I could never do that to my
Well,
parents."
it just depends, right? I mean, it just depends. So, like, no pun intended, if you have they're shitting and pissing themselves, yeah, you're going to the home. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It depends. Like, if they're not, if they're functional, then no, you don't, then fine.
I mean, it's a big gray. It's not black and white. It's a gray gradual progression of how bad things are.
But you wouldn't toss the parents in a home just if they were totally fine. You know, you would only do it.
I mean, you used to watch The Sopranos on TV, right?
Yeah, sure.
So there's a great episode where Tony Soprano's mom is getting old, and there's a couple episodes where she wanders out in the street or she gets confused. It's right at that point, and he's Italian, so he's kind of like, I could never do that to my mom. You know what I mean? But eventually, there's a point where even he goes, you know what? I found this nice facility. You're going in there. It's like, no, Tony, I don't want to go in. It's like, no, you're going in. So like Ro and Asian people in general would never put their parents. That's what I learned. They are not going to put their parents in a home.
Ro would fly to Hawaii and wipe her mom's ass.
I don't know if she's doing that, but she's flying to Hawaii. Ro's got a lot of brothers and sisters, and they all tag team flying to Hawaii to take care of this because, you know, I don't know if they want to hire help. The father doesn't like it. It's this whole thing. I don't want to tell too much about her business, but all I know is that Asian people in general are going to go through extra lengths, whereas as white people would just give her own fucking flesh and blood the boot and not give a fuck. What about blood? She gave birth to you. Yeah, you're I don't have that. No. You're going in the home.
Yeah. Hey, so while we're on the subject, this might be off limits, but I'm going to ask.
And I'll tell you what's on.
Why won't Ro come see you play drums?
Oh, it's not off limits. It's funny. So, as you know, now I'm going tonight to play for the third week in a row. All right. As some of the regular listeners know, this is now my third week in a row where I have somehow finagled my way to be a drummer in a Grateful Dead cover band. And it's been fucking great, Dan. I've been having a fucking... Oh, let's talk about your rat idea after this.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've been going, and so it's great. I got a drum set. I practice, and I go, and it's at this nice bar. And so, look, I know that Ro's not going to be interested in this. I know that we have musical difference tastes. I don't like the same music she likes.
Wait. You're telling me even one time she wouldn't go just to see you play?
Absolutely not. She, one time when we met, saw me at the Outlaw Saloon when I played in an old-time country western band in Moab when we first met. Okay. This was at a real shit kicker bar back in the day, dude. This is like 3 years after knowing her. Mm-hmm. And it was and I was still drinking actually. And it was up there on stage and I would play not the new country music, which is horrible. I'm talking, Johnny Cash songs. And it was fun. And it was a really horrible shit kicker bar. And I would say, hey, would you like to come see me play drums? And she's like, absolutely. So she goes, and she didn't like the social interaction. Like, she's very antisocial. I'll say that.
Okay.
She doesn't like dealing with people and whatever. So people at the bar, I'm up there and like, these big Navajo dudes are like hitting on her, like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, and she's like, I don't want to. And she really doesn't like old white boomers that are bothering her. Like, she really doesn't like that. Hey, where are you from? That she gets that a lot. She boils her blood. And I get it. Where are you from? I'm from Hawaii. No, I mean, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Hawaii. I already said that. No, like, what kind of Asia are you from? It's like annoying to her after a while. I get it.
Are you a Chinaman? Yeah.
It's like, can you imagine? Can you imagine being Asian and just having that question? Every single old white, like, she goes to Home Depot. Oh, where are you from? I'm from Hawaii, not Guam.
Mesa.
You look. Yeah, I used to date
Mesa.
a girl like you're from Guam. You look like you're from Guam. It's like, oh my god, you fucking white boomer. You know what I mean?
My uncle lost a goddamn arm fighting you fuckers in Vietnam.
Unbelievable. So anyway, so now I know I'm doing this, and I said I knew what the answer would be. But like a good, I'm like, hey, would you like to come? Like, you can come in and you can buy a couple drinks, and you can hang out, watch, and I don't think anyone's going to bother you. It's not like the Outlaw. And she goes, would you be upset if I said no? And I'm like, I expected you to say no. I've been to you for 20 years. But here's the thing. You got to invite her. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got to throw it out there.
For the record, Bruce, I am not a fan of the Grateful Dead, but I would still want to go.
That's nice. I mean, so it's the third week I'm doing it right now. And I'm a little nervous right now because we're getting the regular keyboard players coming back in, who is a very, very talented guy. You talk about a talented musician. And I'm kind of fanboying over this guy a little bit, you know, because he's a very, very good keyboard player and singer. And he's like, you're getting Bruce to play the drums for us? And it's like, yeah. He's like, is he good enough? And I'm like, yeah, he's good enough. Other people are vouching for me, telling him that I'm good enough. And I got to deliver the goods fucking tonight, bro. So I practiced for 6 hours yesterday in the living room. You know what I mean?
I have faith in you.
Yeah, so but I have such a good time doing this, dude. So let me tell the radio audience this. So I say radio audience like anyone listen. So Dan, I'm telling Dan I get to do this, and Dan is a musician too. Dan plays guitar, and Dan has got a beautiful singing voice, and he knows how to.
No,
yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Dan knows how to. Dan, let me tell the people. Dan knows how to play guitar.
Yeah.
He knows how to sing and play the guitar at the same time. He knows how to write fucking songs. He's a powerhouse musician. And so Dan likes, and I know you hate this term, you call it 80s rock, but it's kind of hair metal.
I hate
but
that
Dan,
term.
I know you hate it. But okay, I'll call it 80s. Out of respect, it's 80s rock.
It's 80s pop metal. Fine.
80s pop metal. So So likes, you know, like Rat and Whitesnake and stuff like this. And Dan's like, I would love to be in like a Rat cover band or a Whitesnake cover band. And so Dan tells me this on the text and stuff. And I'm like, then do it. And Dan's like, I don't know if I can really do it. I'm like, Dan, you're only on this planet for so long. How much fun would that be?
I gave it some additional thought.
Thank you.
And look, last time I was in a band and it was high school. And I thought to myself, I said, well, if I'm going to do this, I don't think I want an electric band. Like, I don't think I want a drummer and a bass player and the amps and the setup and the PA and everything. Because it's just rigmarole. You got to have practice space. It's hard.
As you get older, the acoustic thing starts looking a lot more attractive, right?
So I thought to myself, you know, it would be easy to do and just as much fun. It'd be me and a singer doing those type of songs, Rat, you know, Poison, White Lion,
acoustic versions of it,
but arranged on acoustic.
Yeah,
you got to have a good singer, like you got to have a screamer, someone who can
I mean, obviously get a woman, right, who can hit those high notes.
Either a woman or a dude who's really badass, right? And it's you and one other person. So because that's the other thing, as you know, you know better than me. As critical as the music part is, that you like the person and then you like hanging with the person.
Right? That's so key.
So it's much easier to find one person you can vibe with than to try and find three others, because I would need a drummer, I would need a bass player and a singer, right? So I don't want to deal with having to fucking arrange practice space and I don't even have an amp right now that I can.
No, and I don't practice it, Dan. Okay, I love this idea. I love where you're going with this. So here's what I see for you, and it's very smart what you're coming up with. The whole reason I'm playing in the Grateful Dead cover band is because it doesn't involve any practice. There's no originals. I know the songs, everybody else knows the catalog, and you just show up and the guy says, this is the set list, and you've never played this song with these group of people ever before, and you launch into it on stage. And it's because everybody knows the song that you would be able to do it. It's a little scary, but it's kind of fun, right? So you do the same thing. So I like and plus for me,
I would rehearse, but it's much different if it's acoustic. It's you and another person. You can go anywhere to do that. You could practice anywhere. It's one guitar and a voice.
Here's what I like about your idea. Here's what I think you need to do. Find a woman, all right? Because a woman's going to be able to hit.
The problem is, that's the problem, right? How? Because number one,
put out a Craigslist ad. Dude, how do you think 90% of the bands get together these days? It's Craigslist. Yes, dude. It's social media. It's Craigslist primarily.
Social media I could see, but Craigslist
looking for guitars. If you start searching, okay, here's what you need to do. So I hear, do it or not, I don't know. So you on guitar, you're sitting on like a chair, right? You could sit on a chair even. And it's at a cafe. It's one of these fakakta cafes that you go to all the time, right? And you're playing guitar, and it's like a woman who is a bit older, obviously, and so she can hit these high notes without screaming. Because a male to hit the high notes is going to have to scream. Yeah, but if you get a woman to hit the high notes, she could sing it in a gentle way that's still going to go like, think about like Heart's Crazy on You, crazy on you, and you're up there. You're up
Yes.
there going,
Yes.
"Doo, doo, 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 doo."
No, you're
And
right. You're
she's
right.
singing it kind of like quiet, like crazy on you. And you're, Dan, that would be so great for you. And like, you would have a great time and it's not a whole hassle. You show up with a guitar, she's got a mic. You know what I mean? I think this is a great, and then you can go to these cafes, these nighttime cafes that are in the college area that I know you like to go to.
Yeah. So the
And
beauty
you
of
would be
this
able to get out in
too,
public and mix it up.
the beauty of this is that this kind of music is having a bit of a revival now.
Yes,
And
bro.
you know, you have the people our age who love it, but then you have surprisingly
It's true.
kids know some of this stuff. Not
And
all
you
of
know
it.
why they know this stuff? Because it's featured in movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, which is fucking
Yeah.
crazy to me. You'll play a song like an old 70s song like Lido Shuffle, and they're like, "Oh, I know this song,
Bob
Lido."
Skaggs.
And it's like, "Do you know who
Yeah.
does it?" This is Bob Skaggs. Like,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
I'm like, "No, I don't know. This is from Guardians of the Galaxy, Lido." And I'm like, "Oh, they totally know it from some
Yeah.
different source, but you gotta love it." Dan,
Yeah. All
I
right, I'll
love this
start poking
idea.
around. I mean, you're right. I got to find the right singer. I needed someone who's passionate about this music. It can't be
Right.
just a singer. It's got to be someone who loves the music. If it's a woman, she's got to do the gravelly thing too, not just the high notes.
Right,
And
right. She's gotta have like a smoker's voice.
yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
You need like
And
here's what you need. You need a 40 to 45-year-old woman who's a little overweight, who wears a big fucking moo-moo, who's got really long hair, a bunch of tattoos, who smokes. And then she's going to have the gravelly voice. She's going to hit the high notes. She'll probably wear a lot of big gaudy jewelry, right? And she's up there on the mic. And then you're behind her with a guitar, you know? I fucking love this. I love this whole
I
idea.
would love. I think it would be fun, and it wouldn't be a lot of work. Whereas
No,
with
you
a
would
band, there's a
just be
lot of
like,
work.
and you would just like say, hey, let you get together someplace, probably, you know, whatever, and just go. Let's run through a couple songs.
Yeah, I would put
And
together a
then and they
set
were
list. I would
all
arrange.
fucking
I would
covers.
arrange them acoustically. I can handle
Yeah,
that.
of
And
course
then
you're good. I've seen you do this. You're
and
good
then
at it,
we would yeah, I think yeah.
bro.
The wife
See,
thinks
I
I'm
can
insane.
picture her
I
with a
told the wife about
tambourine.
this. I told the wife about this, and like she thought I was like out of my mind. Like,
What?
Why?
I think this
Why
is
would you do
wonderful
this?
and creative, and I think this is what the good
Yeah, I think
stuff
it'd
in
be
life
fun.
is all about.
I think it'd be fun. It's just the thing that I worry about is finding the right person because
Dan, let me ask you this. This is so funny. So say you pull this off,
uh-huh.
and it's your first show at some
Mhm.
Fakakta Cafe. Same question back to you. You tell Kara, hey, Kara, you want to come see my performance? First performance?
I think so. She initially got confused. She thought I was going to sing, and I can't sing. Right?
No.
And I'm like, no. I would get a real singer. I'm guessing that if I said to her, hey, my first show is next Saturday. It's at the Johnny Bar. Will you come? I think she would go to one. I think she
Yeah.
would.
Well, that's what Ro did. She went to the first one, saw
Yeah.
what it was about, supported me, and said, you know what? Not for me. And that was it.
It
wasn't like a mean thing.
The hard part, like I said, is finding the right singer, someone I can actually get along with, who I would like.
Yeah.
Who likes this music, who knows this music.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, there's so many good 80s power metal songs that you could, I love this idea that you can sort of turn into an acoustic version.
Yeah.
And so so she might have a tambourine or something.
Yeah.
And you check it out. You say you can't sing, but what you do is you do some backup vocals, a couple.
Yeah, I can do backup vocals.
Yeah,
You take
do a
the
couple of
midnight
yas and
subway
oohs.
train. You call
know?
all the shots.
Oh, I love
You're
it.
struck by lightning. Yo.
Dude, I love this, dude.
Yeah.
I love this idea.
No, the beauty of it is it would be fun because it would be nothing but that genre. And
Yeah,
I think that would be popular in these kind of.
Not only that, like, okay, let me be brutal. Nobody cares about originals anymore at all. You go to like, who gives a fuck? So the Grateful Dead thing I go to, I play to 100 people, easy, 150 people that pay $10 to get in there to see this.
Yeah.
No one paid 10. No one gives a fuck about it. But if you were like, hey, have the Dan and Rebecca fucking 80s power ballad experience, and then the flyer says like Rat, White Snake, Poison, fucking whatever, and it's that whole thing.
White Lion.
And people would love this, dude.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh my God, dude! And you know what? I have a better idea. What you need to do, dude, is get the fucking wig, get like some sort of like the wig, and like wear like a fancy button down shirt that's kind of shimmery.
Should I wear leather? like leather and like do the whole thing?
I mean, I wouldn't go overboard with it. I think the wig would be like the wig would be comical enough and not be like this is insane. Like
Yeah.
the wig would be like if you wear a wig and a button-down silk shirt that's a little bit shimmery, that would be funny. People
Yeah,
walk
I'm gonna start poking around. I just I gotta find it's tough though because the person like you said I'm looking for would be roughly my age in that general vicinity.
Yeah.
40s, 50s.
Get someone between 35 and 55.
Yes, that's the
Gotta
age
be a
range.
woman. Gotta be a woman.
No, I don't think it has to be a woman. I think a
It
dude could
kinda
do it.
does.
It has to be the right. It would have to be a dude who could pull it off, which you're right. Probably not a lot of those.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's got to be a woman. I mean, just
Yeah.
visually, you don't want to. It's just going to be weird with an old dude singing up there. It's much
you're
more.
right. Yeah, you're right. You're
Trust me,
right.
I'm in the music business. Trust me on
to
this.
be able to pull it. You're right about the high notes. You're right about that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's on an acoustic level.
Yeah, because it's
So
going to be
they're
in a cafe and it's going to be kind of quiet. You know what I mean? Like they might
Yeah,
have
I'm
you
looking
in
for like a grizzled woman who smokes
like
cigarettes.
a groupie from back in the day. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like some
yes.
chick that fucked
Overweight,
Nikki Sixx and like
overweight, hey Dan, hey, what's
Hey,
up
Dan.
next?
This is Rebecca. Listen, I saw your ad on Craigslist. I'm sure I can pull this
Hey.
off.
The name's
Listen.
Wanda. Wanda. Yeah.
This is Wanda.
Yeah.
Hey, I fucked Nikki Sixx back in the day. I saw
Yeah.
his cock.
CC
Hey.
DeVille, man. He shot a load on my tits. It was amazing. Yeah.
Dude, and she could do riffing in between songs. Hey, next one. She could have a gig, like do a little stand up, like every between. Next song's by Poison. Name who's a band member in Poison, Dan?
Bobby Doll.
So next song we got up is a song by Poison. Funny story. Bobby Doll's got a testicle that descends, and don't ask me how I know that. So
Yeah, I got or like, hey, next up is Rat. Robin Crosby died of AIDS. Luckily, I fucked him before. I got him before he got famous. Before he got famous, if it had been a little later, man, I'd probably have the AIDS. Thank God.
the HIV.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
you can write this material for her
Yeah,
if she's down. You can write this It can be like a comedy. Man,
yeah.
I love where this is going.
Yeah.
I think this is fucking gold.
Hey, so let's see if you. So I read. Speaking of Rat, I read Stephen Piercy's book. He wrote a book, the lead singer, and his big thing was the 3 P's of rock. The 3 P's.
Let me see if I
Can
can
you guess what those 3 P's are?
It's pussy.
That's one.
Powder.
No.
I can't remember. What do you got?
Party,
pussy.
paycheck.
That's funny. It's funny, I guess powder, which is essentially party.
Yeah. Well, we're an hour and a half, man. I'm gonna book.
Oh, Dan, I really.
You like this idea? Yeah, I like it too. I think it would be fun. I think it would be easy. That's the main thing, is that I like the idea of like a band like you're in is awesome because people with electric instruments and stuff. But I just think it's so much hassle involved with that.
But I would never do it. I would never do it. That involves like we need to practice on Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah, well, I would have to rehearse, and you know what that means. You got the drummer, got to bring his shit somewhere. You got to go to his house, and
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
I am thrilled to be doing this tonight. I mean, I got the set
So
list.
if I do this, will you come see? Will you come down and come to one of my shows?
I'm not flying to Florida unless you pay me a fucking airplane ticket. I mean,
So I
just worked 3 days, dude. I just worked 3 days for $380
for less money than that flight.
I'm never doing that again.
Yeah. No, I would bring you down and pay you. You could be the henchman. You could be like the roadie.
I would dress the part too.
You'd be like, Bruce,
fucking...
you got to put the we got the Martin and we got the 12-string.
I would have like the long wallet chain with the gaff tape on it. And then it's performance too, because whenever you walk onto the stage, I have to like lead the way and with the flashlight to make sure you don't get tangled up in cords. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's a great move too.
Yeah, the monitors.
Oh my god, I fucking love this idea so much. Like I can picture it in my head with the woman. And then the comedy aspect of it is just launching it to a new level where every single song you play, she's got a little skit, very short, a couple lines that you write about some sort of very disparaging. It's always about the guy's penis. And it's like, And even if it's not true, the persona is she was a
Did
roadie.
you know David Coverdale has a third testicle?
Hey, funny story. We're about dude. She can have a fake cig, right, and constantly be like flicking it, whatever,
No,
and
better.
just
It's
like,
real. Real would be better.
oh my god, dude, this is gold, man. I hope no
Yeah.
one steals
This
this
would
idea.
be
This
funny.
is
This would be
really
funny.
funny, dude. And then you come up with like a funny, like it almost seems like an SNL skit, like one of these Will Ferrell SNL skits. You know, he's up there with a guitar, like, and you got a little banner behind you, and with the name of your thing, you put it up, and you get like a guitar, and you're wearing the wig, and she's looking the way she does. Oh my god, this is fucking gold, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna start poking around. This would be fun.
You get a fucking empty Jack Daniels bottle. I've done this.
Yeah,
An empty
filled
Jack
with iced
Daniels
tea.
bottle, apple juice. It looks
Apple
just
juice.
like it.
Okay.
And you just fucking swig it and stuff like this, you know. And you get like you get some sugar.
Yeah.
All right, Dan. Listen, I love this idea.
All right.
So much.
We're gonna move it forward. We'll see where we're at. I'm gonna start poking around. I'm not gonna do Craigslist. That's too creepy.
No,
I
almost
need a third party to do this for me. Like I just don't.
I could do it. I could look
I don't wanna
around.
deal with. Could you screen them?
Yeah. Let me work on this for you. It's easy for me to go on Craigslist, search Gainesville, fucking put in the search parameters, find somebody, fucking vet
But
them.
you got to vet them. I don't want.
I
any
will vet them.
weirdos.
I'll even get on Dan. I'll get on the phone and talk to them.
Ooh. Yeah, and you're
I'll
like
do this for
you'd be like my benefactor is a very private man.
Not only that, I will record the phone calls without the permission, and then we could play them on the fucking podcast.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna shut it down. Thanks for tuning in.
What are you gonna title the fucking the graphics?
I got.
How about like
I mean, it's acoustic '80s metal.
No. I'm talking about the Heeb Goy show when you usually put graphics and like what the show is.
It's gonna be. I know what one of them's gonna be.
Back to Work.
No,
the toilet.
Yeah.
Burger King Explosion.
Burger King Explosion. The name of it. I like additional chicken wrap. Is the name of it.
I'll have an additional chicken wrap.
Additional chicken wrap.
You have to.
I'll have.
I'll have an additional chicken wrap, and then back to work. You know.
Back to work.
And something about the 80s hair revival. Or like Bruce, what's your pronouns? That's good.
Oh no.
Excuse me, what are your pronouns? Like you got to do that. That's good.
It. Mine is it. It. I like being it. That's what I would be.
Buddy, that was a good podcast.
All right, kids. I'm out. Here we go. We're gonna end it up right now. Say
Heeb
goodbye.
Goy.